I hope you're still following along. Please use the chat function just to tell me if you can see a slide with principles of cardiac sonography with modules, lectures, and assessment items. Whoops, you're not going to see it at the moment. Let me go back again. I hope you can see that. Is that able to be seen? Please let me know just by typing. So remember that the principles of cardiac sonography is largely going to be unchanged. We can still cover most of the things in the modules, both the cardiac anatomy and physiology and the diagnostic ultrasound, physics for diagnostic ultrasound. As I was saying, lectures are largely going to be unchanged, and same with these tutorials. We've just had several tutorials now, and they will be available to you via Views 2 very soon. The online quizzes, as I said yesterday, we spoke about them in detail. You'll be able to access and undertake as per scheduled. The final written exam, the content will be same. It's just the delivery. So what I wanted to reinforce to you yesterday was it's the way in which it's going to be delivered that's likely to be different. It may well mean that the exam is sent out to a person who will serve as a sort of invigilate the exam, and you undertake it that way at a place that the venue that either the university asks you to nominate or choose or something of that nature. So principles of cardiac sonography is going to continue to work as was planned. The same can't exactly be said for the practice of cardiac sonography. So it's one I want to talk to you about now. I can just see a question via chat. Thank you for asking, Nicole. No, it wasn't. It wasn't recorded, so that's why I'm going through this again now. The information session yesterday, I failed to press the record button, but this is certainly being recorded, so hopefully the information will still be transmitted anyway. So the practice of cardiac sonography, the three modules, they've all been interrupted by both the limitations imposed on you and the limitations imposed on me. As I said last week, we'd done a whole lot of planning. We were going to record a whole lot of practical sessions this week and have you zoom in and zoom out and all that kind of thing. But at the moment, non-essential staff aren't permitted on the campus, so I can't get there, or I'm working from home, so we're doing the best we can. In terms of lectures, fortunately all the lectures can still be delivered. They're all online. They've already been recorded, so the lectures will be made available as scheduled. I don't want you to feel though as though the quality of the course is going to be compromised. We still plan to have both tutorial and practical classes. They're just going to be delayed. There's nothing we can do about that at the moment, unfortunately. Moreover, I can't tell you an exact date. If I was able to propose a date, and this is tentative only, propose a date for the tutorial and practical classes, it may be June. I don't know. I hope that it is, and certainly be very keen to have you come in, where we've got tutors like Kenny and I and Susan, who you'll meet, Fernando as well, where there'll be ultrasound machines and volunteer patients for you to practice your skills. In terms of the assessments, as you know, there are 4 assessment items: the applied project, practical exam, written exam, and logbook. The applied project is the one assessment item that really should not be impacted much at all. As a matter of fact, we're still going to have it. There'll be some minor amendments. The others will be delayed. It would simply be unfair to expect you to try and demonstrate practical activities without first having tutorials and the likes. So I just want to reaffirm that. With regards to the applied project, let me just go through with you some of the matters about the applied project. The applied project, as you know, is due in week 8, and that remains the case. I want to, as best we can, to continue to move forward. If we don't, we're just going to run out of time, and that's going to complicate things. So continue to anticipate that the applied project will need to be submitted at the same time. Submission will be via a folder on the Views site. Let me stop sharing here for just a moment, and I'll go to the learning guide. Which I hope I have available. Let me just see. It's not there. Okay. Can you just tell me that you can see the learning guide there, the white screen with the big W in the middle? Can you just let me know via chat? Just, I don't want to be talking to a blank screen. Thank you. Thank you very much. So on the learning guide, I just told you about tutorials and practical classes. This is page 5 of the learning guide. The tutorials haven't gone ahead. They will go ahead at some point. So will the practical classes, and at the practical classes we'll have case studies to view and to work our way through. With regards to the assessments, the lower three of the 4 assessments, practical exam, written exam, logbook, will be delayed. The applied project will still go ahead. Let's talk a little bit more about that. The applied project has 3 parts: facts, figures A, figures B, and references. The facts part, and I will reaffirm this, you can watch this video, but I'll reaffirm this with an announcement. The facts part remains unchanged. Figures A will remain unchanged, so parts 1A and part 2. Part 3 will be different. And the reason for that is I know that some of you are limited in terms of being able to attend your clinical practice. So part 3, as you know, you need to embed 7 2D transthoracic images into the document that you develop. Well, I'm happy for you to select those images from textbooks or journal articles. Obviously, you will need to reference them appropriately. You'll still need to annotate them with what we want you to show, but it's not necessary to go and acquire images that we would have done under normal circumstances. So I hope that helps to make that clear about the applied project. Everything else on the applied project remains the same. I can see a question. With the project, I've already obtained those images. Can I submit per normal? Yes, please. I'd be very happy for you to submit via normal. Absolutely. Um, um, good. So if you've already done this, well done. And you will certainly, if some of the images aren't perhaps optimal or textbook, don't worry about that. What I'm after is really for you to show images from those different projections and annotate them appropriately. Whether you whether the images you get are from your clinical practice or a textbook, you still need to make sure that the anatomy that you show, for example, one left atrium needs to be from a subcostal view. So pay particular attention. One of the important things that I want you to appreciate here is when you're doing these exams, when you're doing these assessments, read the information clearly and look at the marking criteria so that you address everything properly. Let me just have a look at my screen here for a moment. So what we've done today is there was a library resources tutorial earlier that has been recorded and will be made available to you. Already today is the cardiac anatomy lecture. It's a really important lecture, so make sure that you look at that one. We've had a tutorial on the cardiovascular system, a tutorial on cardiac anatomy, had the tutorial on ECGs, spoke about the imaging atlas and the other principles, practice of cardiac sonography elements that will be changed. What I want to do just to finish off with is I just want to show you the home page and just mention to you two documents, one that you will know, one that you won't know, and I'll recommend that you over the next little while familiarize yourself with them. I know that we're covering a lot of material here today, but I'm trying to make the most of this online seminar. So again, I'm going to share my screen with you. So once again, please, can you just tell me, using the chat function, can you see the home page there? Thank you. So on the home page, as you know, with learning zone, communication zone, is assessment zone. The learning zone, if you haven't yet accessed some of the lectures, the lectures from this week are via the principles learning modules here. All the seminar material will be made available here in seminars. There are announcements here. An important page to open up is via the course guidelines link here, and I want to draw your attention to two new documents that are there. Firstly, the Year 1 imaging sequence. More importantly, in the first place, is the bottom attached file here in course imaging guidelines, which is called WSU Echocardiography Guideline Extract. Now, it's one that has been sent to your supervisors and you would have been CC'd on that email. It gives you some important things about parasternal and apical views and image optimization. Now, I understand that you are not in a clinical setting at the moment, but even while you're absent, I think it's still helpful to be able to appreciate some of these things. So what you've got here is a quick reference to how to acquire views. It's still important that you read the textbook. It's still important, obviously, that you work with your supervisor. And when we're all able to return to clinical practice, obviously it'll be important that you acquire images. But this is a quick reference in terms of remembering how to position the transducer and different planes. So the transducer alignment, the transducer orientation, and then different views and how to manipulate the transducer in order to achieve different views from parasternal long axis to parasternal short axis views. Apical views as well, transducer, planes, orientation of the transducer. Another important thing too is image optimization is a really important part of echocardiography. And from very early on, it's ideal if you start developing good habits and start learning to control the machine. This is one of the tutorials we would have had if we were all together on machine settings and image optimization. And there's some more technical things here about how to improve image resolution. What this particular table shows and the image down the bottom are settings that you'll need to be able to operate and optimize. They're very much part of some of the assessments that you'll be having, the practical assessments. And Doppler optimization as well. And so this table indicates what the controls do and then how to operate them, and some of the displays on at least one of the machines anyway. So that's the extract, and you've probably read through that. I hope that your supervisor has seen that and gone through with you as well. Lastly, and this is lastly, I appreciate that you guys have been hanging in there for a long time. The imaging sequence. Now, none of us are in clinical practice at the moment. Nonetheless, the imaging sequence is something that we will get to and we're going to start working on. I encourage you to familiarize yourself with this. So this is the year 1 imaging sequence. The year 2 imaging sequence is a development from this and is quite different. It requires the acquisition of more views from the 4 standard imaging windows. So I won't go through it at length, but it's now available to you. And what I hope it helps you to appreciate is a sequence that can generally be applied when you're imaging. Now, one important thing to say about this, however, is that not every echocardiogram is the same. What's very important is to appreciate that each time you start an echo, you need to be very mindful of what the indication is. That helps you to focus in order to answer the question. Nonetheless, if you go about imaging in a systematic way, you're much more likely to capture all the different anatomical features, the function or dysfunction, and to display that properly. So, parasternal long axis images, parasternal short axis images, 2D images, Doppler images, color Doppler, spectral Doppler, and some tissue Doppler as well. So that's for you to go through. I don't think online now, and moreover, I don't think at the moment now, because we're not in the practical environment, is the right time to go through this in detail. But when we do get together eventually on campus, we'll be able to go through with that. So there we go. That was a bit of a marathon. I hope nonetheless it was helpful. I can see that there are still some of you have endured it all. It has been recorded, so you will be able to see it. What I will do with the recording is I will break the recording up so that the tutorials are separated from the information. I hope that makes sense. Olivia has just asked, will there be a Zoom before the online quiz? There will be information about the online quiz in two forms. There will be some practice questions, and there will be information about how to access the online quiz. Moreover, the lectures and all the tutorials will be available to you. There won't be a Zoom at this stage. Okay. Next week I'm Zooming with all the Year 2s, and the week after that is the quiz. So just for the moment, there won't be a Zoom. I hope that answers that question, Olivia, but there'll be plenty of detail in terms of announcements. You won't miss doing it. It will still be available, and you'll have all the material, including lectures, tutorials, textbooks. Okay, so I hope that answers that. I'll stick around for any other questions. Happy to answer them. Anyway, thank you, everyone. Thank you for both attending things as best you can this week, for your patience. I hope to be patient in turn. Let me reinforce just again, please, that we're here wanting very much to support you. We understand that this is difficult. We will try as best we can to make as much information available to you online, obviously, because this is a very practical skill that you're learning, and a lot of the features of that require, some face-to-face. We can't do it all, but that doesn't mean that we have forgotten it. We've just delayed it for a little while. So I'll sign off now and say all the best. Tomorrow, the tutorials from today will be available online. Continue to access them, review them as many times as you like. Once they're available, you can access them as often as you want. So thank you. Good night. Be in touch if you need me. Yeah, look forward to hearing from you, and in time, look forward to even more to seeing you.